Out of the rain.
Now, where in the world do you suppose that...
Lose something?
Oh! Well, I was... No, I mean, I was just wondering...
Oh, that's quite all right. One moment, please. Ooh.
Your lack of awareness of defence as towns, as people, has left this nanny government to police you and then therefore treat you more and more like wards of state and lunatics. There comes the game of the mind and the accusations of delusion in ignorance of many of the things around you, and that includes at a scriptural level at this blessing of Almighty God. And they wholly want you to never know this so that you remain in this indoctrinated state of mind. It's this godless society that has allowed for their forced compliance, which has, in this case, reached the boundaries of international humanitarian law, which they're obligated to operate in this sphere. So we have this use of the fruits by this management of your constitution, wherein the fruits within the boundaries of what would be your territorial waters should be managed by that government. And when you're under some sort of executive branch control, then those fruits seem to go offshore in what's called a Lima agreement, while you get controlled under what's called an International Arbitration Act. And these policy enforcers get to play under what's called model law, which is the United Nations trade laws. So they get to debt collect on behalf of foreign interests. So the use of the fruits is determined in that game as well, wherein do you get to create cars in your own country because mining is yours and makes the cars affordable to manufacture? Or do you have to buy those minerals of someone else that took them from your country as ore, turn them into the metals that they are, and then sold them back to you at extortionate costs, therefore shutting down your entire car industry, and then a follow-on effect to all of the companies that are underneath that, like the bolt makers, the upholsterers, the factory line. There are so many things that are involved in creating such an object that the overflow of effect goes down the chain as well. So the government has effectively killed not just an industry, but many industries in the process. And that's what's led you to this whole belief that the government owns what is essentially the people's, while the people are put in a guardian or warded state, put under a spell basically, to constantly prop up this system which is actually their downfall. And that they always had a choice under the blessing of Almighty God to recognize these key links back to what would be your father's estate. So buy a shirt. There's some cool shirts there. Just click on some links and click on some buttons and things happen. And when we consider what would be described as a curial overthrow of government and look at what had happened within the period post-1936 to now, we could say that it is us, the people, that have been overthrown. It is us, the people, that have boarded a creation that has taken us away from God's estate. We look at God's estate, which can be defined very clearly at the arrival of the Great Fleet 1907, where it is commemorated very strongly, both Commonwealth and Aborigine. So moving forward in time, we can see a slow and purposeful undermining of what is the people's into these private hands again. You've lost your ability to be free and godly people, to live within this rule of law that they hold you under, specifically by your ignorance of the historical point of view and this curial problem that you've had the entire time. You've argued politics within a garden you never considered defending. The thing that troubles me out of all of this is the way that they have played upon the mind in an attempt to get a result, rather than factual evidence of any wrongdoing from any of you, the people. They have sought to undermine the very premise or ideal of knowing or growing up with God, which would put the state in a precarious position at law, given that our understanding of our position has become a class one. And we can see that when we talk about stakeholder economies, wherein you'll own nothing and you'll get a digital ID and you'll use someone else's stuff. And it's because in the mind they've brainwashed you into believing that the policy of the state is all you'll ever achieve. You are the working class, the pauper, the pleb. You are a plebeian. The sheer strength and power to maintain this charade is easily overweighed by the people. There was a time where Reagan came up with the Just Say No campaign, and it could then be said about many things in reverse. Want this home loan in a really bad time? Just say no. Want these credit cards at really high interest rates in a collapsing economy? Just say no. It could be said about a lot of things that this system has forced its hand upon you by thumbing down the pressure so hard that eventually you just come under its thumb. And that's what they're hoping with their digital ID and their WEF economy, because this will become your driver's license, and then once that happens, you'll either be stuck doing nothing, or you'll require this ID to participate in their military-controlled society. Let me repeat that again. Their wartime policed military-controlled society. And it's in that, this curial problem that you've had in your very own land for a very long time. And as a people, never really cared what your forefathers actually did by laying down a dominion in a king's domain, and foundationally set forward a country in its own independence, at which you just sit on your hands letting everyone else dictate the terms for you.
Chorus. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave.
Why, you're a cat.
A Cheshire cat, all a mimsy, o'er the border goes.
Oh, wait. Don't go, please.
Very well. Third chorus.
Oh, no. Thank you, but I just wanted to ask you which way I ought to go.
Well, that depends on where you want to get to.
Oh, it really doesn't matter. As long as I can...
Then it really doesn't matter which way you go.